Good morning to the Litigation Technology class, or whenever you guys are watching this. This is going to be the way that lectures are going to be happening going forward for the rest of the semester for both the Wednesday Litigation Technology LLM course and the Friday Litigation Technology sections. You guys are, at least from this point on, pretty much on the same schedule. There's going to be a little bit of a difference for like the first week, I think, just because of the way that the different school closures, state closures, class cancellations kind of went down. So there's a little bit of a difference, but by the end of the semester, by the time we get to the final, you guys will be on the same page. If you guys have any questions about things, let me know, send an email. If a bunch of you guys start emailing, asking the same questions, we'll do office hours, we'll do something else, preferably during like our class time. But if we need to, for the sake of deadlines and when the homeworks are going to be due, we'll do that a little bit ahead of time as well. We'll find kind of a mutually agreeable time. We'll also record those as well. So if anyone can't make it to the live sessions, we'll find a way to make sure everyone kind of gets their needs accommodated too. I think the biggest change that we're going to talk about going forward is that even though this is a skills course, because it is a skills course that also incorporates technology, we're thinking we're not necessarily going to have you conduct an actual final trial. I think that just the logistical problems of doing a final trial with computers, laptops, iPads, document cameras, which you guys don't have access to, it's going to become prohibitively difficult. And so instead, this course is going to now transition from being a skills course where you're conducting trials to a skills course where you're preparing for a trial. So there's going to be some differences. Rather than in live classes that you're going to have to attend, there's going to be videos like this one that you guys are going to have to watch. And there's also going to be assignments that you're going to have to email to me or email to me and Nick, depending on which class you're in, as well as some other materials that you'll be creating on your own in your own time, and then submitting to us by the end of class on the week that it's due. So if you have any questions about that, let us know. But basically, as you're looking at the syllabus, so if it's like class 10, the assignment that's described in class 10 needs to be done by the end of the day of that date of class 10. So you have to submit that ahead of time. So you're gonna have to always look for what's the next class coming up. So for example, for the next class, everyone I think is starting on class 9. Hopefully by the time that the Wednesday or the Friday class is normally scheduled to be upheld, you should be completing and emailing to us the completed assignment for class 9 by your regularly scheduled class time. So again, if you have any questions, let us know. We're all kind of figuring this out. I know that you guys are going through this with lots of your other classes. For me, I don't have a lot of other classes to get through, so this is all kind of a transition. So with that all being said, I do want to get now into the lecture material for today. For one of the classes, it's a little bit of a review, but I think really necessary. And also for the other class, this is going to be your first time looking at it. And today what we're going to be doing is looking at trial presentation software on the laptop side. So we've already looked at trial presentation software already for the midterm, either whether it was TrialPad or Trial Director for the iPad. You've all kind of seen that, and you've seen the flexibility that that gives. You can set up all your exhibits in there. You don't necessarily have to make PowerPoint slides ahead of time. You can be dynamic and flexible. You could pull up exhibits on demand and have them ready to be able to pull up for a direct, or more importantly, for a cross-examination. Laptop-based software is something that we move towards for the final, and we saved that for the final because we want to make sure that you're getting used to some of the basic concepts of litigation technology first. And then once you kind of have that foundation, then we can get to stuff that's a little bit more difficult, more harder to use, harder to learn, but much more powerful and gives us more capabilities. And so with laptop-based software, the general way that I explain it when I'm advising like law firms or trial teams as to which app is going to be the right one for them for that trial, the way I normally think of it as for things that are on the iPad, there's kind of two kind of cutoffs. If you have 300 exhibits or less for your trial, the iPad is probably going to be a good fit. Or if you don't have a lot of video impeaching that you have to do, maybe there's only one opposing expert that you're really worried about and everything else is going to be pretty straightforward, then I think the iPad is a good fit. If, however, you've got a jumbo trial where you've got like 600 to 1,000 exhibits or maybe even more than that per side and there's multiple parties, or if you have a lot of videotape depositions and you want to do video impeachments, that's a really good reason to start looking at laptop-based software like OnCue, which is the one that you should have been downloading and then installing, and then in the Dropbox folders, materials for each of your classes, there should be a file in there that has a student license that you guys can use. So make sure you have that installed as you're kind of looking at this lecture, or after the lecture, as you're getting ready to do your assignment, make sure you get that all installed. That's going to be for the Windows people only. For all of the types of software that I use that's laptop based, there's only Windows versions. There isn't a browser based version. There are products that are out there, but not the kind that I would be comfortable using, that are robust enough that would make it worthwhile using over, say, an iPad. So there are browser-based versions. We're not going to teach you that. There is a Mac-based version, but it's weird. I'm not going to teach you that one either. So we're going to be Windows PC only. Normally, when we teach the class for the Mac people, we suggest that you go to the 5th floor and IT support, where you could check out a laptop, install the program on the laptop, and use that for both your homework assignments and for your final. You can't go to the school or the law school anymore, so that's not really an option. Check the syllabus for what we want you guys to do. We still want you guys to be able to watch these videos. Make sure that you understand them. It's not intuitive all the time, and to the extent that it is, there's just a lot of stuff to remember. So it's not something where you can just kind of casually watch it and have it on in the background while something else is going on. You're going to have to pay attention to it a little bit. Sometimes it gets a little bit dry. Sometimes it gets a little bit boring. But this is really the kind of stuff that you're going to need to know for both your final and also as you get out there into the world, as you're going out there. I mean, here's the main reason why I want to make sure that you guys really know this, even if you're not Windows PC people, is because you're going to go out there and you're going to say, yeah, I took this litigation technology class. I can totally handle being second chair or third chair on this trial. I can totally do it. And then people are going to expect that you know how to do these very important things. So it's going to be really important for you guys to be able to follow along and make sure you understand it. Each subsequent week, we're going to be building on skills that we learned on the prior weeks. It's going to get more complicated. So you want to make sure you understand it as we go so that it's not overwhelming you at the end. So with all that said, let's go take a look at my laptop. I've got OnCue opened up here. On the left-hand side, we've got all kind of my documents and everything set up. This is a test case that I typically use for training and instructional purposes. And on the right-hand side of this main part of the screen, that's where I could see the exhibit that is. If it's multiple pages, I can twirl down the exhibit and go to each individual page, which makes it nice. And then I have annotation tools at the top here. I'm really going over these really quickly just to get you kind of acquainted with what's going on here. But really what I want to do is also then show you how I can publish these exhibits. And so when I'm ready and I want to publish the exhibit, I can hit this send to live button, or if it's at F5, if you're into keyboard shortcuts like I am, and you click that, and then you get this on your second screen that you're showing to the jury. And so what's nice about this particular program is that it works on a lot of keyboard shortcuts that make a lot of things easier and faster to use. So on the iPad, you'd have to like pinch to zoom to be able to do that. With this, you just hit the W button and it goes to widescreen. And then to scroll, instead of having to like scroll up and down like this, I like to use a mouse for mine. And if you right click and drag, you can scroll up and down and you can do it relatively smoothly. I like being able to do that. If you want to go back to a full screen mode, hit the F button and go back to full screen. If you want to do a call out, hit C. And let's say you want to pull out a paragraph there, you can do that. What's nice is then from there, you can also resize the callouts that you have and move them around. So let's say you need to pick up a couple of different paragraphs on the page. You can do that and resize them and move them around relatively quickly. And you could do all those things on the fly. So that's something that you can do. Let's say now at this point, I need to highlight it. I can hit the H button and then highlight any particular text that I want to. I can do that. And then when I want to erase everything off the screen, I just hit E. Everything else get erased. And if I want to go and clear the screen, I just hit escape and then the exhibit is cleared. The nice thing about this is though, if I have a much longer exhibit, it makes it really easy to navigate. So let's go to this JTX exhibit 10, which I've abbreviated as J10 in this. And if I wanted to do that, I can either come back to the left-hand side and twirl down and find the specific page that I want. Or let's say that I'm just in my viewer here and I've cleared the exhibit and now I need to go to exhibit. Someone says, all right, let's talk about exhibit joint trial exhibit 10 or JTX 10. I can hit X, which is the keyboard shortcut for like go to a new exhibit, and hit J10, enter. And that's the exhibit I have. So whatever I've named the exhibit as I pulled them in, I can use it as kind of like a secret code to type in or a blind type so I could pull up the exhibit quickly. Once I have the exhibit in there, I can use my arrow keys left and right to get through the exhibit quickly and rifle through the pages. Or if I know which specific page I want to get to, let's say I want to go to page 59 really quick, hit 59, enter, and I'm on page 59 really quick. So the idea with this app is that it can move lightning fast as long as you have an attorney or you're the attorney that knows exactly kind of what page you want to go to, or even you have kind of an idea of what page you want to go to. So if I'm not sure if it's 26, maybe I go 25, 24, yes, that's the page I want. Then I could say focusing on the third paragraph, I can hit C and call that out. I can even left click and drag it and move it around and still use my H for highlighting. And if I just want to highlight a couple of things, but maybe I've made a mistake and I don't need to highlight that last one, E clears everything off of the screen in terms of annotations, but if you hit Control E, you can delete one thing at a time, kind of like an undo button. So that's really nice as well. And then if I want to clear that again, I could just hit E to get all the callouts on. If I want the entire document down, I hit Escape. And so those are ways that I can really get around this program very quickly by using all the keyboard shortcuts that I've memorized. And there's a way that you can print out or have those on a special little section of your laptop screen if you want to do that to help you with the keyboard shortcuts. Or you can have the tools that are available to you at the top. And as you are practicing with them and looking at what each of them does, if you hover over them, it gives you what the name of the tool is and also what the keyboard shortcut is. So for example, I usually don't use that many circles when I am conducting examinations. But if I did need to use them a lot, I would probably hover over the circle shape and then hold Shift C. So I'm going to cut this video short here just for the sake of brevity and to kind of give you guys some natural breaks. But for the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the download files that I've sent you for your final exams. You're going to download those. I'm going to help you in making sure you have them installed in their correct place. And then we're going to start bringing them into a new OnCue case file so that way you can start building that case file and get ready to work on your final.